Hello guys, this is Nick. This is Show. Right here with Priscas. Summer Burnies. What does it mean by Summer Burnies?
Summer Burnies, it gets cold. It gets cold in December, so we like being in a warm environment. So that's why we come back.
So you're back to Kenya.
Yeah,
It's not like I'm coming for holidays.
Because it's very cold there, and we just come from summer, and then unaenda winter, and then now instead of staying in America to have that cold weather, you just come to Kenya and continue that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't know why they call it summer bunnies. You love it.
I also don't know, but Summer Burnies. Okay, guys, this is Prisca and Prisca from USA. Are you from USA or you stay in USA?
I stay in USA. I'm a Kenyan.
You're a Kenyan.
Yes, sir.
Okay, tell us more about yourself, Prisca.
My name is Prisca Gemelli. I grew up here in Kenya. I was born and raised in Kenya. I went to school here, and after high school, I ended up in America. So I don't know if you need me to start from
the background.
The background.
Yes.
Okay. I was born in an area called Chebarus. It's in Mosbridge. I went to school in a school called Burnies, and so Burnies, I think it comes from a Maasai name or something like that. Yes. So So I went to school there for 6 years.
Okay.
So let's say 7, because I was nursery, then I went to class 1 to class 6. Then after that, my mom moved to a place called Juakali. I think a lot of people know the place is Juakali on your way to I think it's Tarbo. Yeah, I went to school. My second school is Seyot for just 1 year. Then after that, I went to another school called Kaptinga, and that's where I graduated primary. I did my primary. I got 296 out of 500. So I got 296, but at the moment my mom had other things to do. My sisters were getting married, and they used the only car that I knew. They would use it for my high, to pay my high school, right? So I ended up not having like school fees and things like that. I started going back to school. I asked my mom to, what can I do? They were like, oh, so umefanya class 8, it's enough, you can stay home. The other ones needs to go, you are the one to stay home. So I was like, no, this is not right. So I went to another school called Mutuat. It's not far. It's in, we have Mutuat Simat in Kaptinga. It's the same village. I think it's a tri-city. So I went to that school, and it cost my siblings, they didn't get to go back to the same school, Kaptinga, because they were like, I was bright, and this school knew, Kaptinga knew that if I go to Mutuat, I would bring their marks yao itakuja juu. They were like, no, we need our kid to come back to our school so that it can boost the school. So it cost my siblings their stay in school, so they sent them home.
Okay.
So my siblings ended up going to Simat, and that's where they finished their school. So I finished my school in Mutua. That was 2006. I did my class 8, and I got 347. That was the second time. So when I got 347 again, there was nothing at home to for me to continue with my high school. So
what was it like now? Before when we go to high school, I understand you went through a lot of challenges when you were in primary, and going from school to school. What was it like? What was the challenges? What were the most challenging things that you went through?
So basically, mother. So being a single mother with 8 kids, we were 8. bringing up all these 8 kids were not easy for her. So we had to stay with our grandmother in Chebarus, and my grandmother was blind. So you can imagine all the time before we come for tukikuja ile lunch, we don't have food because our grandmother had to wait for us to washa moto, tuweke maji ya ugali, and then she would be the one to cook for us to eat, and then we go back to school. So imagine from class, when we start going back to school, ile narudi sanane, class 4, 5 and 6, and you have to come back, do all this stuff for my grandmother to cook so that you can eat and go back to school. I usually tell people, if I tell you something in Swahili and I don't say it right, because sikurudi saa 8 nilikuwa narudi saa 9.
Ulichelewa?
Nilikuwa nachelewa.
Au kwa tent lesson ya Kiswahili?
Ya Kiswahili, so nilikuwa nafika kama inaisha. So it wasn't something easy. So we had to walk from Chebarus to Ndabarnach. It's quite a distance. And so Ndabarnach caused me to run. So we had to run in the morning when we are going to school, run when you are coming for lunch, and run back when you are going back from lunch. And in the evening you have to run, because if you go, if you walk, you get home at 6 or 7, and we have to do other chores. You have to take care of the cows, you go to do milk or something like that, because our grandmother was blind, and my mom was not staying at home. She was doing house help jobs. So whenever she has off, that's when she comes and bring food for us and make sure that we have what we need. But it wasn't sometimes we had to go from house to house, ask for food and things like that. And at that time I didn't know we were poor. Unaishi kanyumba around hivi, and that's jikoni na nyumba kubwa, and it is everything, and all of you are in the house.
Yeah.
But
you don't see it.
Yeah, I didn't see it we were poor. And we were going to different houses. The only thing that I thank God it didn't happen to us, we didn't steal. It didn't get but we could get to that point, because sometimes we don't have food.
Yeah.
We had to eat mchicha, just that as food.
No.
Hakuna ugali. Unajaza kwa mkebe, and then that's what you're eating. So we did that for a while with our grandmother. And my older siblings, when it was Chana, I think they decided, they were like, this life is not for us anymore. So they decided to get married. So they got married so early, when they were in class 6, class 7. The oldest alienda form 1. Then akaona akate akon. So the same thing would have happened to me, but when I finished class 8, my aim and target was to go to university. So I was like, this thing will not even cost me even a little bit. I would try all I could. I know I was a kid. At that time, I didn't know, unaenda kuuliza mama, mbona unilipi shule, why? And when I look back right now, she didn't have anything. She didn't.
You now understand.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I was, I was stressing out and asking my mom a lot of questions. I saw they don't love me or things like that. Why me? But when I look back, I'm like, oh, she tried. She really tried. But yeah, so we went to that school, we walked around, and we moved to Juakali. We moved to a family friend's house, and the house was grass touched. And it didn't have the, in the middle, when you touch the house, the middle of the house. I don't even, you're roofing, you can roof people. Hapo katikati sasa, it didn't have grass. So haikuwa na nyasi hapo. So it was open. Whenever it rains, inanyesha direct. And we were in the house. And we were there for almost 5 months. It wasn't it wasn't really easy for my siblings, because I stayed in that friend's house and my siblings were in that grass touched house. So kind of a house help in that family so that they can give my mom milk. So and for me to go to school in Seiya. So
now you were in high school now?
Not really.
Primary.
So the primary, we stopped there so that I can go back and explain the challenges. So when I was in Juakali, I was in class 6. I stayed in this family, and they gave us this housing. So it was, when I look back right now, it was like I was working for them so that they can give my family accommodation and milk, and but not food. So mom had to go to my Litisa. At that time, unajua hiyo shamba walikuwa wanapanda watu squatters. So my mom had applied for it, and we thought maybe even when we were moving the first time, we were moving to that place. So they said, oh, the squatters, and my mom was like, let me apply for it, because when my mom got married, she had some problems in the marriage. So they had to divorce in Daglenga, pet lawless. So they had to divorce, and in our Kalenjin culture, you cannot get married again.
Yeah.
At that time, they couldn't allow her to get married again, so she had to stay at home. So she brought us up as a single mother with her mother, and they were born 3 of them. But my uncle was not that. He didn't do a lot, so he was just a simple guy, humble guy. He could not help us in any way. But my aunt didn't stay at home. I don't know where she was. Hata nikuja kumjua baadaye my mom had 3 siblings, so she didn't stay at home at all. Alimaliza Form 4. I think she got a C+ and something, and then she decided to do her own stuff. So we went to this house, we stayed for a while, and then we moved to another place called Kambikuku. I think people would know, in Malitisa, you go to Kambikuku and then you go to Juakali. Yeah. This Kambikuku, I think our president sold some chicken there. Yes. So, and we stayed in one house too, and it is a family friend too. I think the lady of that house is sister to our grandmother. So akatupea nyumba, we stayed in that house, and I was still going to Seyot because we stayed for just 1 year, and then we moved to Kaptinga. That's when I finished my primary, and then I went to Mutuat. I finished my primary again. But we had to move from house to house, staying with people.
Why was it
It was quite difficult, because I remember when we were in Juakali, we had to, this, unaenda kwa nyumba ya mtu, you ask for food, or they are our relatives. You go there, you ask for food, they give you a lot of work to do. Mnaenda kuvuna, mnafanya nini, and then at the end of the day wanawapea gorogoro moja ama mbili, ama wanapea ile mahindi, unaona ile unashika mahindi kubwa kubwa mbili na wamefunga hapo nyuma, you go just with that. Na umevuna the whole day.
Yeah.
So, but we didn't know that they were treating us different. But when I look back right now, I'm like, oh gosh, they didn't even care that. But they were in a position to help. But they say it's mysteries of the mind. You never know what people are thinking.
Yeah.
So we just leave it at that. And there was a time we had to just tukachuna mapera. And ni matunda tu ya kawaida ya nyumbani, mapera, sijui lakwas and stuff like that, and that's what we ate for a week. That was our food for a week. Our week. So until my mom was able to buy, ukinwele gorogoro moja amaende, we had to cook a little bit ndo tugagawe lisiisha haraka. So, but it was a journey. But we thank God, we survived it. We didn't get kwashoko and things like that. But we never know. So after that, that's when we moved. We came to Kaptinga. We had a home now. My mom bought a piece of land, and she built a house. We stayed in that house. I went to Mutuat and things like that, and
that is when life changed.
It changed a little bit for the better, because my mom now was with us. all the time.
Now, tell me about your mom, because you said she was working for someone.
My mom worked as a house help for different houses. The ones that I knew was the one in Koyo. It's in Nandi, Kaptumo area. So she worked there, one family called Chepsiro. And I remember we stayed in that house until my younger sibling was born, like the youngest. So I was nilikuwa nimepata ile fahamu, like I can tell, even if I go back there, I think naweza jua familia ilikuwa gani, because I stayed there for 8 years. When I was 8, that's when we moved to Chebarus. We moved back to Chebarus. And my mom was a single mother, so she worked in these houses, and with us, because we were younger, we could stay with her. But my older siblings, they were staying with our grandmother, so she could have to send food and things like that for them. And when walikuwa na shamba like eka 10, but I don't know why they were not even hawakufanya anything. But my mom could not afford it because akona watoto wote. And you remember that time walikuwa nalipa shule. Ile mafidia yenye walikuwa nalipa shule hizo sijui nini.
Now, how did it happen? Like now, all these challenges you're going through and mom working for families, and then how did it happen? Or she was saving for the land, or how did she buy the land?
No, the piece of land was given by her family.
Oh, okay.
They had 10 acres. And because she came back from her marriage, they had to count her as the son.
Oh,
so akagawiwa shamba eka 2.
Okay.
Sababu anasema magrore goe mara 2, right? So akasema huyu atakatwa ampatie shamba. So akapewa hiyo eka 2. After we had moved out, I think my mom was fed up with some things. I don't know what happened. But she had some issues with my uncle, with the wife and everything, and she had to move. So we moved. That's when we stayed in different houses, our relatives. Then she had to buy her own place. So when my grandmother was like, you need to come back, sell this piece of land, buy your own. That's when we got. Then you tell the son, one of the sons, I was like, oh, this is that's not how you do the hesabu. Hey, when I think back, I'm like, why did she say that? She said,
you were trying to help.
Yes. She said, we talk in the kind of mamako jikoni. You're just but a house help kid. Even if you get an A, you're not going anywhere. What she said.
What if, like, when you look back right now,
yes,
to people who let you down or who discouraged you in a way, how are they now compared to your status?
They're still in the same place. They didn't even move an inch. The son that I was trying to help didn't even finish high school. Like, and she told me, unaweza ji compare na mtu mwenye amesoma shule. At that time sikuwa najua hata Nairobi ni wapi. So alikuwa anasema mwenye amesoma shule Dandora phase 4. Nikasema kwisha mimi. Yaani iko na uso 4. Yes, but but that thing stayed in my heart because I was almost 10. I can remember very well. We had to wait for her to eat so that she can give us ile mabaki. If it doesn't, kama watamaliza, and then we stay tutakula. Nani mama yangu ndiye amepika. Can you imagine? Like my mom is the one cooking, and we are the one.
You have to wait.
Yes.
For someone to eat first.
Then unajua ile sahani zenye zimetoboka hizo. They had to give us that. Unaweka ugali ndio supu isimwagike. Hiyo ndio tunatumia. Walikuwa na umbo wengi. Wanatumia the same to feed the dogs. But like at that time I didn't see like
there was no problem.
Yes. But when I look back right now, they really belittle us, Like why? But it's okay. I